touch this.
Well, we're here today at Bluebell Lakes, Tanser, Northants, for a spot of bream and roach fishing. The elements are against us. We've got a lot of flood water and there's a howling gale. But we've got some new kit, new Christmas kit to try out, and the fish are waiting. Let's give it a try. Okay, so I'm tackled up now, ready to go. So I'm going to talk you through the swim and why I've chosen it. Well, I've chosen it because it's virtually the only one fishable. So the water's so high, it's the only bit I can get between trees. So I've had no selection there. So what am I going to do in the swim? So I've got to think of how a fish will be thinking. So first of all, it's quite mild. So in winter, you'd really tackle down, maybe only use a little bit of bait. Because it's a lot milder, I'm going to be a bit more aggressive. So I'm going to use some ground bait. And I'm going to use some casters and some maggots. I'm going to put a little bit of feed in, probably through the feeder, or maybe even spod some out. But not too much, but enough to get the fish interested. I don't think we're looking for one bite, I think we're looking for maybe 10, 20 bites even. So let's be aggressive, and I'll talk you through the kit and the rigs as we go along. The ground bait for today is really simple. You're not going to believe it, £1 a bag. Most people would turn their noses up at this stuff, but let me assure you it's very good. I've got a green betaine. A nice dark ground bait, it's got some crushed hemp in it as well. So £1 a bag, we're going to blend them together dry and then we're going to mix them a bit at a time. We'll go through that. Often in summer I would use sort of fish meal ground baits here and catch a lot of the bream. But there's something about this place. First of all, fish meal, I'm always nervous in winter. Something about the oil in fish meals that put bream off and roach off in winter a little bit. So I tend to go for a traditional mix. But Bluebell Lakes roach, they hate fish meal. It's the strangest thing. As soon as you put fish meal in, they'll scarper. So I'm going to go with a traditional mix, and hopefully that'll just crack it. When you're mixing ground bait, always mix it dry at the start. Certainly when you're blending two mixes. So I've got two colours here. Put them both in. There we go. Now you want a bucket or a round bowl where there's no corners for bait to get wedged into. And as you can see, two colours have become one. So it's like a dark green now. It's an attractive colour. Now a bowl of water. Now I add a little bit at a time. Don't pour it all in because you'll never get the consistency right. Just tease the ground bait a bit at a time to a mix that just holds together. It's coming together nicely. And then we're going to put it through a riddle just to remove some of the lumps. Now this is quite a coarse mix. People might worry about this in winter, but as I say, we've had this mild weather. There's a bit of colour in the water, and if you can get in front of some fish, I think you'll catch them. Now for the final stage, tip your ground bait on top of the riddle. It's not a particularly fine riddle, this one. Start to push it through. You can use your hand to get it through, or just give it a bit of a shake. You can see those big balls of feed that you don't really want in your ground bait. They're a bit stodgy. Look at all that we're going to throw away. And what you're left with is a nice dark green feed that'll hold together in the feeder. So for today's bait, you've seen the ground bait being made. We've got some red maggots for hookers, two red maggots maybe. We've got a lot of casters here. I'm going to put those in the feeder, lay a bed down, cap it with ground bait, keep casting in the same spot, and as I say, we'll alternate between red maggots and casters on the hook. Very, very simple approach, but it doesn't have to be complicated. When choosing a feeder for the day, you've got to try and imagine the water you're in. So first of all, I'm going to try ground bait feeder, so that rules out the maggot feeders. I could have used that today, but I feel that I can be more aggressive and put ground bait in because it's so mild. If it had been a really cold day, I probably would have just fished a maggot feeder, a small one, single maggot on the hook, and just looked for one bite. Say it's mild, I'm going to be a bit more aggressive. It may prove to be a poor decision, but he who dares wins. So as for ground bait feeders, there's different kinds you'll see in the shop. You see this cage variety, could be in different sizes, and these solid ground bait feeders. Now these are the ones I'm going to be using today. Now why am I going to be using this style? The reason behind this is because it's so deep. Now, I reckon it's about 20 foot out there with the extra water we've got, 5 foot on the lake. So if this falls through the water, because it's not riddled with holes, hopefully the ground bait and the casters will go all the way to the bottom. Whereas if you use this kind of feeder with this cage effect, it's got 20 feet to fall through. That's an awful lot of water and a lot of pressure to push through these holes. By the time it gets to the bottom, there could be no feed left. So in deep water, always choose a solid feeder. Once you've got your bait sorted, you need to suss the swim out then. So first of all, I've chosen a far bank marker. Now why do you need to choose a far bank marker? Well, that's the line that you're always going to cast to make sure your feeder hits in the same spot. Then you can build up a bed of bait. Every time that feeder goes right in the same hole, down it goes, carpet is built up and the roach and the bream should come. The other thing you've got to remember is a line clip. Whilst the tree on the far side will act as a directional marker, the line clip is the other thing that acts as a brake. So when it casts out, it will hit the line clip, feeder will fall into the water, come down into the same spot. When you're casting in conditions like this, and it really is very, very windy, gale force, you wouldn't want to be on the North Sea, let me assure you of that. Yeah, when you've got conditions like this, you need to alter your cast, and you need to be much flatter. Otherwise, if you chuck it high, the wind will take it and it'll be miles offline. So you line up and keep it a very low trajectory and you punch the feeder. Now that's great with this rod, and this is called a ISIS reactor from Avanti. Now it's about £30, it's the top of the range rod for them, super cheap for everywhere else, but top of the range for them. It's a high quality carbon rod, and you get no twist in the blank when you're punching. It's very, very accurate, and you can get it within a sixpence. Now let's see. Well, that's a great claim in this weather, but we'll see how we go. That's bang on the money. Straight onto the line clip, straight to the tree on the far side, bury the line, keep it out of the wind, and just tighten up looking for a bite. Now this feeder rod, this reactor, is 11 foot in length. Now 11 foot for me, if I had to choose one feeder length, 11 foot would be perfect. It's not too long in that you go to a commercial fishery and you can't move, you can't actually get it to the side. But it's long enough for, you could take it to Ireland if you wanted to, if you were into that, or big waters. It's just a great all-rounder. And also you could take it on the river chubbing or something. It gives you a lot of control, good distance on the cast. It's perfect. What I also like about this one, this rod, this reactor, it's the quality of the blank. Now, it comes with 3 tips, so you can choose which one you want. I've got a very light one on today, a glass one. The action is such that it's progressive, it comes through the rod. So when you're playing a fish, the bend comes all the way through. So when it bounces around, right by the net, just as you're going to net it, the rod always gives. And that allows you to use soft hook, light hook lengths and small hooks. So when it's cold in winter, you can scale right down, or in summer you can be more aggressive and use a bigger hook. Makes it a real all-round piece of equipment. One of the classic sort of tips I give first of all is just setting up correctly. So look at the rod. So we're on a still water, there's no tow. Keep the rod low. Now if you keep the rod low and the tip just above the water, then the wind can't affect it. It won't sway around, it won't give you false bites. So that's the first one. Then you want a nice feeder rest in front of you. And have the rod on your lap and your reel, and your hand on the rod and reel here ready to strike. When you get a bite from a roach or a bream, certainly a roach, can be a quick tap, and you've got to be ready to act and ready to strike. If you've got that down there, sort of on a rod rest over here or just leaning against the ground, by the time you picked it up, the bite's over and it's gone. So very important just to be comfortable like this and have a seat. Now this seat here I'm using today, it only costs £40, it's very cheap, but it's very comfortable and it's got adjustable legs so you can get a good even base. But you've got to get yourself right. Feeder fishing really is like a game of chess. You can't panic, You've got to keep building your swim, being accurate all the time with the casting. At the start, you want to cast probably every minute, and as the session progresses, to slow it up, and eventually when the fish arrive, there'll be a carpet of bait down there for them to feed on. But it gives me a good opportunity actually to talk about the reel here that you want to team your rod up with. Now this reel is a 3000 size, and it's a Vanti Azure. Now what I like about this reel, first of all, is the price. It's only £15, and for that you get a 4 ball bearing reel, so it's very, very smooth. And look at that for line lay. Now by filling your spool right to the lip like that, and it being a very even spread of line, it allows you to cast at range and very accurately. There's no bedding in of the line. And on the spool today I've got this stuff. That's 250 metre spool of camo feeder line from Avanti. Now I like nowadays you get bigger spools. In the old days it was always 100 metres, so you had to back the spool with wool and all sorts of stupid things to get it to pack out. But now, so readily available, the bulk spools, 250 metres, which go straight onto that perfectly. Now £6 line it is as well. Now that's a good resilient line. Now, it's a nice strong line, abrasion resistant, it's got a little bit of stretch, and it sinks well. But £6 is about the right breaking strain, because when you're feeding, casting the feeder out, punching it out and bringing it back in, punching it out, bringing it back in, it can take a bit of wear and tear and a bit of stick. So £6 probably about the right weight. Right, things are looking up. I just had my first bite, so it gives me a great chance to show you a little bit about the rig. Now the rig I'm using is just a simple running feeder rig. Right, there's two styles you can use when feeder fishing: a paternoster, where your feeder dangles down, you've seen that with a water knot, or a simple running feeder on the line, stopped with a bead and a little swivel. In conditions like this, you don't want a paternoster. Now why is that? The reason behind that is because this lake's flooded, so it has as a result, has a lot of ridges on the bottom, places where we used to sit and feeder fish normally, and that's also got a lot of tree branches and things. Feeder dangling down will be a disaster. When you're bringing a fish back, that feeder could get wrapped around a bit of tree stump or a bush or something, and you could lose a fish. So a free running feeder is the one for flooded conditions. Now for a hook length. Now I've gone fairly fine. This is Preston stuff, 0.11 diameter. In the old days, I used to go by breaking strains. This is 0.11 diameter, £3 6 ounces breaking strain. And with that, I've got a Camazan B560 hook. This is quite fine wire, quite a light hook, and I can put 2 casters or 2 maggots on that. I could go smaller, could go bigger, but start as on an 18 and see where you go from there. Right, when you're putting your double red maggot on, it pays, you just snick them on like that, one flat end and one with a pointy end. Now by doing this, it prevents lots of line twist. When you're retrieving after you've cast out, it doesn't twist so badly, so you don't get a hook length really messed up. This hook length I've started on is about 2.5 foot, but as the day progresses I'll just switch around, see what's better. Sometimes you could have a shorter hook length, sometimes something much longer so the bait falls through the water slowly. But you only really know that when you sort of react to the conditions and what your bites are like. But do play with the size of your hooks and the length of your hook length. These are the moments where you sort of lose them, or you can do. I've got all sorts of twigs out there. It's gone through a load of snags. This is the problem with flooded lakes. But I think she's going to be ours. The rod's got a lovely soft action in the tip. So absorbing all those lunges. Here she is. And it is a bream. Come on. And it's mine. Gotcha. Okay, let's take a look at our prize. Just take this apart. This is a good landing net pole. The new Boss one. Very, very powerful. 2 sections. Oh, what a beauty. The tip just sailed round. I've got it on the double red maggot, just in the corner of its mouth. It's taken about I've got it. Taken about an hour of constant casting. to, she's got a bit of life left in her, to get a bite. Missed the first one, and then you go. Beautiful winter bream, lovely colours, great prize. It just shows you don't have to spend thousands of pounds on your tackle. This is all this gear here today. It's all quality kit, but at a great price. You can get it all at Dragon Carp Direct. Look at that beauty, great fishing. Let's see if we can get another bite. Now this has been thumping all the way in, this fish. You can tell it's got to be a roach. Bang, bang, bang on the head. Really distinctive. It feels like a good fish, good sized roach. Now I've just got to be careful under the rod tip. It's only a small hook. I don't want to lose it. Yes, it is a roach. Nice example of the species as well. This lake's got some beauties in. Look at that on a winter's day. Beautiful redfin. Cracker. Let's have a look at her. And this is what our quick switch to caster has produced. Now that is what you call a dog roach, a real beautiful fish. Now Bluebell Lake is quite famous for its roach. Well actually it's not famous for it because no one talks about them, but there's plenty in here. Obviously being a carp fishery, they get fat on the carp baits that people throw in, and all the way right across the complex you can catch big roach in all the lakes. And this isn't big compared to some of them. I mean they can go to £3, but it's a stunner on a winter's day, and proof that this kit really works. That feels a good fish. That feels a good fish. That feels a good fish. Might be. I think that's knocking like a bream. I wish it was a giant roach, but I don't think it is. I've got to be very careful bringing this fish up this ledge because, of course, because the fishery is flooded. It's a good fish. Look at that. Very buttery coloured, a bit bigger than the last one. Yes, that was a great bite as well. It really slammed the tip round. That's a bigger stamp fish. That's a beauty. Oh, it's an absolute stunner. Only just go in the net. Woohoo! Winter breaming on my £1 bag of ground bait. Look at the size of that. Beauty. Oh, 2 hands to get that one out. So that's on a few casters, a bit of maggot, £1 bag of ground bait. I got my top of the range rod, which only cost £30. Brilliant reel, only cost £15. I've got all this stuff around me. You get change out for £100. Magic.